which is still low for like what's about to be a WrestleMania, but still,
Yeah, yeah.
they'll do it. But
Um,
still, you're going from that to seas of people that you can't even see the people in the top like area at all. And it's
yeah,
like what's great is that it's an indoor stadium, so the sound just kind of reverberates.
yeah.
What was, oh my goodness, what was what was that feeling like being out there? Because I saw the video of you before when you did the rehearsals that they have on the WWE online, which is great because you could feel and see the emotion, that you're putting out there, but you hadn't even really fully been out there in front of all of those people.
Yeah.
Years later now, looking back, what was that moment kind of rushing over you? Like, what was those nerves like?
To be honest with you, I was just mostly excited.
Okay.
My goal, when I joined the contest, I remember I was just like, man, is this really like for me? I don't
Mm,
even know, like I'm doing this, and mind you, like in the local wrestling scene, you're lucky if you get paid. So I was
yeah.
like, in my head, it's like, I'm not really like making money out of this,
Right.
but I like
Hot
it. I
dog and a
love doing
handshake,
it.
brother.
And it's like, to me, like, what am I gonna do? Like, do I keep going? And then my
Mm,
friend saw the contest and he sent it to me. And actually, there's two of them who sent it to me. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this. Let's see where it goes. And in my head, I really wanted to win, particularly as a test for myself.
of course.
I wanted to know if I can handle that type of pressure.
Oh, I love
'Cause to
that.
me, it's like doing all the kind of work that, like in the independent scene in my head, it's like, okay, that's great, but can you handle the pressure when you get to the big stage? Because it's
Yes.
very different kind of pressure, very different kind of demand. So to me, it's like, I want to know now, is that something that I can do? Is that something that I really do see myself doing in the future? Because if not, then, I'm not going to stress about, making it. Because I was taking time off from work too, mind you,
Oh,
to
of
like do
course.
my best. Yeah, because it's like because I work weekends, so
Hmm.
and like the wrestling events that I worked, um, they were all on weekends. So it's like I was taking time off from work to go somewhere where and I wasn't getting paid. So it's
You weren't
like
getting paid.
so so it was like, okay, like, is this really worth it? And I just knew I was having fun. And
Mm.
so when I won the contest and I was there, and I remember one of the refs, Jason Ayers,
Oh,
he
he's
was
so nice.
yeah, he was
I've talked to him on Twitter and Instagram. He's so nice. Yes.
yeah, he's so nice. So he was the ref for the match that I announced. And before I went in the ring, he told me, he said, Rain, look around you, take it all in.
Mm.
And at first I was like, oh God, should I do that? Because I might get nervous.
Oh,
Because
right. Then
I
you're just
wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous at all. Like I was just like, this is what I hoped for. This is what I prayed for.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I'm here. And I remember looking around and I was like, this is my answered prayer. This is what I've been wanting. And like the fact that I felt comfortable looking around made me feel like I belong.
Yeah.
And I walked inside the ring, I did my thing. And the funny part was after everything was over, that's when I felt nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because it was over. There was no way for
Yeah.
me to like recreate it. There was no way for me to fix it. Nothing
Nope.
else that I can fix. So in my head, I was asking my husband, I said, how was it? Like, what do you think? And he was like, you did great. I said, like, and that's when everything was like, oh my God, I gotta see this now. Like, how did I do? But yeah, I just remember just enjoying the moment.
Mm.
And I actually saw Triple H like after the rehearsal. The rehearsal that they gave me was just like a one-time thing we're in.
Yeah.
So I would
Like a mic
know,
test kind of thing. And yeah.
yeah, mic test, so they could get a level of my voice. So I would know where to stand.
Yeah.
And honestly, the fact that I have a television production background, I think it just helped me to feel more comfortable, right? To
Mm.
me, it was just another day at the office for me. Oh, okay, we're doing TV.
Just
Cool.
just also
Like,
where the Raiders play and John Cena's the headliner and with Roman Reigns. Yeah, no big deal.
but yeah, it was just like for me, like the cameras didn't scare me. It was just like, all right,
Right.
cool, red light, cool, great. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Then I'll do my thing as soon as they see the red light. And but yeah, Triple H told me, he said, no need to be nervous. You just have fun because that's what we do here. And
I
that's what
love that.
exactly what I did. I just had fun, and I'm glad people saw that, you know, I was having fun.
Yeah. Did you hang out backstage much?
Yes,
Okay.
because we got there at like maybe our call time was like 8:45, I think that day.
Okay.
8:30, 8:45 in the morning. And mostly because they wanted to introduce me to like everyone backstage.
Right.
So my husband and I, they actually picked us up. Like we had like a car service. It was like a whole star
Wow.
treatment. Yeah. We had a car service from the airport to our hotel, and then from our hotel to Allegiant Stadium.
Okay.
And yeah, we hung out backstage. I got to meet a lot of wrestlers. Um, you
Who'd you
know,
geek out on the most?
um, oh, Beth Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember because she was there at the rehearsal, and I
Right.
remember got out of the ring, and because at this point we were still wearing masks.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
2021. So yeah. Especially
yeah,
in Vegas. Like Vegas is that transient town that everybody comes and visits, especially during COVID. So, you definitely need to be wearing the masks. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So I remember like I met Molly Holly, but I remember,
Oh wow.
when she was like telling me, "Oh my God, great job, great job." And then she said, "I'm Nora." And in my head, "Oh my God, Molly Holly." And I said, "Nice to meet you, ma'am." And then she takes off her mask. "I'm Molly Holly." I said, in my head, "Of course I know who you are." But I just did not want to, be like the fangirl, right? Because
Right.
in my head, I wanted to look professional. Like I wanted them
Okay.
to see
Yep.
me as,
I've been there. Yeah.
I was a fan. I am a fan, but like to
Yep.
me, I wanted them to see me as, okay, this is the girl who's going to announce this match.
I'm a
Um,
colleague. I'm not just, a fan. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
get that.
And so right after that, I met another lady. She was wearing her mask. She was also wearing her glasses. And then she said, "Oh, I'm Beth." For some reason in my head, why is my coworker Beth here? This is odd.
How did
And
she
then
get
she
here? What
like
is she doing?
she pulls her mask down and she said, "Beth Phoenix." And I said, "Oh my," in my head, "Oh my God, yes." And it was really cool because like after I announced Big E versus
Mhm.
Baron Corbin, my husband and I got ringside seats, and
Hence the
there was
chairs behind you. Yeah.
Mhm. And there was an empty seat right next to us. And when next thing we know, like Beth Phoenix was sitting right next to us.
Oh,
And so, I she was there to watch her husband's match,
right.
Edge's match. And so I just kind of chatted with her for a bit, and it was really nice. It was really nice to just like have that moment. And I remember, oh, with Liv Morgan, she was super sweet. I remember my husband and I were backstage, and we were gonna sit in like the catering area, and we saw this table with Liv, and we were gonna sit down as she was gonna get up, and she saw us, and she sat back down, and she started chatting with us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that was really cool. And like she was just like very down to earth. And I remember telling her, I said, Liv, I feel like you're gonna be champion soon. And she's like, "You think so?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so. Like the fans want you. I really do think your time is gonna come up soon." And then, a year after that, at Money in the Bank, that's when she
Hmm.
got the briefcase. And so yeah, bunch of like great memories, with some of the wrestlers.
Yeah. That's amazing. So how do you go from that to I guess back to reality. Like, what was the come down like for you? Because I mean, like you said, it didn't really hit you until afterwards or later, and then that's when the nerves and anxiety really kicked in. But then like you you go from the highest of the highs, and then you have to go back to reality. Like, which you've had on a no it's no knock whatsoever. It's on a smaller scale. Independent wrestling does that for you. Obviously calling the cage matches in California does that for you, and that's a smaller come down as opposed to like 46,000 people and something you can go back on Peacock and watch on a regular basis. So like what was that kind of back to reality kind of moment like?
So honestly, for me, I think it was just like a huge high and then a huge
Yeah.
low in terms of for my personal life.
Right.
So SummerSlam was in August of 2021, ultimate high for me. And then like 2 months after that, my grandpa who raised me passed away. Like a month after
Oh
SummerSlam, I
no.
literally flew back to the Philippines, spent like 10 days at a hotel to quarantine because they weren't allowing people from outside the country to just like, you know, get out of the airport right away. You have to quarantine
Right.
at a hotel for 10 days. And then, and then my grandpa passed away like a few weeks after I got to the Philippines. So to me, I felt like I had that ultimate high, like, oh my God, like, everything's going well. And then like, the person who's like one of, the most important people in my life, like passed away. And
Right.
I think the hard part for me was I wasn't able to like show my grandpa what I accomplished,
Oh,
right? Because we weren't allowed in the hospital.
right.
I was in the Philippines, but I couldn't visit him in the hospital. So I think that was like the ultimate low for me. And then so when I got back, after that, I got back here in the States and I still did some shows. It just felt like, okay, like it's more of like, okay, a lot of things happen. Okay, now I'm back to like doing my local shows. And I was trying to knock on doors and it seemed like something was going to happen and then it didn't really pan out. And then eventually I was just like, okay, what's happening here? Like, okay, I feel like I reached that ultimate, stage, right? I was in the WWE and now I'm back to like, my reality of like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm still not there though. Like I had that one night of like,
Yeah.
you know, but like I wanted more nights.
Yeah, you want that to be your reality as opposed
Yeah,
to that
yeah.
was just the highest of the highs, then now you're back to, where you are.
Yeah. And so to me, it was like, okay, like I had to like take a step back and kind of like reassess. I was like, okay, I wouldn't have made it to WWE. I wouldn't have won the WWE announcer contest if I didn't have what it takes to make it
Right.
there. So to me, it's like it came down to like trusting what I knew I have, like the talent that I have,
Hmm.
and knowing that when the right opportunity comes, that door will open for me.
Exactly.
Um, and sure enough, I mean, I did a bunch of like local shows out here still. And last year I felt like, okay, you know what? For some reason, I feel like I reached my ceiling right now in wrestling. I wasn't learning anything new. So I was
Mm.
like, let me try something else. And, you know, tried my best to kind of network with people, contact people. And one night I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna find a bunch of announcers on LinkedIn, send them, invites, and whoever responds, I'll ask them questions. And I had a few people respond to me, and one of them was Joe Martinez, who is
Yes,
the UFC Octagon announcer.
former guest of the show, one of the nicest guys on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Hmm.
He gave me the advice to, have like a demo tape and like send it
Hmm.
to like promoters. And he said it's just a waiting game. And I waited. I got a bunch of no's, and finally I got a yes. And that's from Up Next Fighting. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and then I made my debut for Up Next Fighting back in May. And I remember I was just completely honest to them. I said, I'm just gonna let you know, like, I've never done MMA,
Yeah.
but I've done wrestling and I'm here to learn. And I remember after my first Up Next Fighting event, I just felt like, oh my God, this is like something new. I really enjoyed it because I was learning something. And they're like, okay, make sure you're available for the next show. And I was like, okay. So in my head, okay, they must have liked it. So yeah, now that I'm doing MMA, I'm learning the stuff that, I wasn't learning in wrestling, right?
Mm.
It's like with the local shows here with wrestling, we didn't really have like the full on production
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
compared to now that I'm doing MMA.